I run into a lot of early data mesh companies that sort of ask, how do we, like, or the business, they'll say the business doesn't get it, right? Or how do we get the business to understand the value of data mesh? You know, the head of engineering is all in on data mesh, but they're not communicating it well, it seems like, or they're struggling to get buy-in, or like they don't understand the importance of this. And what do you mean they're not responsible for their data? So how do we get the business to understand or care about data mesh? Scott, I'll start with you. We'll go Scott, Avi, and Matthias will end with you.
So my pithy statement is they don't have to care about this, right? I've got a thing that I've talked about, the unicorn farts theory. Anytime you're going to put data mesh into a document that you're going to put in front of a business person, put in unicorn farts, because then you're going to pull it out, because they care about what changes for them, why it matters. And maybe they do care about data mesh, but you find that out on a person by person basis. Maybe it is part of the org overall pushing thing, but in general, they don't want a sausage factory tour. They want to know what sausage they're going to get, and they want to get a high quality sausage that isn't going to give them salmonella, which currently have. So, but like, that's what they want. So focus on communicating around that. You don't have to care about how it's actually delivered, as long as you tell them it's going to be delivered reliably, scalably, interconnectively. We all have to be in this together.
Makes sense. Abby?
I think we really just covered it, right, in the previous couple minutes, right? There are ways to be incentive compatible here, and I would say action is about increasing motivation and decreasing friction, right? I think we've talked about the ways to increase motivation, right? Finding these incentive compatible solutions. At that point, I think the real key is lowering friction, right? If someone wants something bad enough, they will run through a wall to make it happen. We're not going to get anyone to run through a wall to implement data mesh, but we can lower the barrier enough that the key is how permeable is that wall, right? Look, the real leverage for people is going to be lowering friction. So how can we lower friction? Where do we start? But for motivation, I think we focus on some of the things we just talked about around finding those incentive compatible ways to help people understand that they themselves are consumers of their own data products even, and that they themselves can be clarified through the process of thinking, through this framework.
Awesome. Last but not least,
I'll be quick. I think, the business will understand value where they see it, right? If you are able to show them value in terms of a lower cost, time saved, etc., they will take it, right? That's it.
Makes sense. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I think everyone's on the same page on that last one. I think I run into organizations a lot where there's almost this tug of war of, will the data leadership put on the business hat and start to speak the language of the business problems, or are you going to continue to wait for business leaders to understand data engineering and data architecture? It's like one of those things isn't going to happen. So I think you need to start putting yourself in the shoes of the business, understanding their problems. And then when you start to hit pain points and address pain points, you don't ever have to say the words data mesh ever again or anything, right? It's just, do what you have to do to solve my problem. So I really appreciate it.